and welcome to the Banter podcast. I'm your moderator for this week, Korey Moore, with Brennan, Kirkpatrick, Kyle, Pritchard, and this is our final episode of the season.
Of the season. Season 1 is over. I'm excited, man. I mean, just to see how far we've come with this podcast, from being in Corey's basement, garage. We were in his garage in the freezing cold weather, drinking our hot chocolate, to us going online. We had a couple of in-person things in my current studio right now. I'm in the live studio for Banter. You don't usually get to see this, the Jim Kelly jersey hanging.
Where's
on
the bourbon bottles, Brennan?
They're there, all right there. Yep, there we go. Chose the side angle so I can get some sports memorabilia instead of alcohol in the background. Hope you like the change, but anyways, I'm pumped. How are you, Kyle? How are you?
I've been busy. I've had more time in my
finals
beforehand. Yeah, I had two.
Not finals. Unfortunately, midterms.
Or midterms. It feels like It feels like finals. I don't know why.
A lot left to go.
We still got 8 weeks.
Soon, let it be known, Banter Ball will be back in person.
Yes, it will. Mm-hmm.
It'll happen.
Right.
So yeah. Before we get into today's show, just reminder that with the season finale, we do have punishments for season 1 happening. Right now, Kyle is going to be undertaking 3 punishments, while Brennan and I will each be taking 2, because we each paired with Kyle on one episode where we did not reach 10 questions, and then all 3 of us did not reach 10 agreements on the Christmas special. So, if you want to see how that ended up being the case, you can go back and watch our old episodes. It'll be exciting.
There's some relevant content
for a couple weeks here, but yeah, that's how you get your Banter Ball fill in these next 2 weeks whenever we're not filming. But with that being said, it's time to get started here today. We've got 25 minutes on the clock. If you guys agree on the question, then you get 1 minute to talk it out and you get a point. If you disagree, you get 35 seconds to express your own view, then 1:30 to reach an agreement. If you reach 10 agreements, then you guys pass the day. If you don't, we go into the speed round, which we will have planned, which I do have planned, which we will talk about, which Kyle is really not excited about.
I am not.
So maybe be very agreeable today. Have some nice cordial discussions.
I think these questions you've proposed are very agreeable.
They're very open-ended in the way that you can target these different angles that don't necessarily have to be, oh, you're right or oh, I'm right. You guys can tackle these in other ways. So
I'm excited for
fun stuff. Yeah. Are you guys ready to go?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
All right. 25 minutes on the clock starting now. Question 1. So the NFL Draft Combine started this week. What position, if any, do you think has the most to prove at the Draft Combine?
I'll let Brennan go first. That's fair.
Okay.
All right. I want to hear Kyle Pritchard first. Let's go. 35 seconds.
Alrighty. So I said quarterbacks, and the big reason for this is because I think the main 3 guys in the draft right now are Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels. None of them are throwing at the combine. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a great opportunity for those guys like a McCarthy, like a Bo Nix, like a Michael Penix, to kind of elevate themselves kind of into that 4th spot. Because I think this is probably a 4 quarterback first round this year. I think one of those guys can definitely sneak in the first round. So I think this is a great opportunity for one of those guys to break through the mold and hopefully find themselves on a team pretty early here in the draft.
And Brennan.
All right, so I said wide receivers, and basically for the same reason that Kyle said quarterbacks, there are just so many wide receivers, which is why I chose them over quarterbacks, because there's more quantity of them, and especially when Neighbors and Harrison Jr. aren't competing in the combine, it really gives a chance to see what other receivers are going to stand out in the draft order. Because there are so many wide receivers this year that can go in the first round, go late, go early, and they're all kind of just fluctuating all over the place outside of like Marvin Harrison. Obviously, he's the best. But like for the same reasons Kyle said, I think just
– yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 1:30, I think you guys could probably agree on the type of player that has something to prove at the combine.
Yeah. If you want to kind of go blanket slate there, just the guys that definitely could be a first-round talent, but like –
because I had a lot of wide receivers in the back end here, like obviously Neighbors, Adunze, Keon Coleman even. But then I think you guys got guys in the back like Troy Franklin, McConkey, Walker, Mitchell, Leggett, Thomas. Like those are all like borderline round 1, round 2 guys, but it's like top 10. They're top 10 wide receivers, and there's that many of them. So yeah, I agree that the type of players that need to prove themselves, and especially with quarterbacks like JJ McCarthy. I saw a mock draft where he was projected to go 9th to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Like that's absurd to me because he's a game manager, right? Like he really didn't do a lot of Michigan, but like I think with a good combine it could help him, and maybe it becomes more reasonable. You go pick it. God becomes the 9th overall pick, right? So I definitely agree with you. Not positions, but
the range.
It's the type of player. It's the range of players. The late first round, early second.
All right.
Because
with 10 seconds remaining, you guys got that agreement. That's 1 point for you guys. Now we're going to leave the NFL. We're going to hop over to the NBA for a huge accomplishment this week from our main man, LeBron James. LeBron James is about to pass 40,000 points for his career. Where does this accomplishment rank among LeBron James' career achievements? I mean, think about exactly how you're measuring those career achievements. Think about stuff like that. But let's just talk about a LeBron-centric.
Oh my God, just ignore my spelling here.
What the heck? Okay, all right, a little bit of a different approach. Kyle, let's hear you first.
Okay, so I said it definitely is absolutely his best.
Well, did he cut out for you?
Oh. Yeah, he did.
Kyle, can you pause the timer and then
I think Kyle has just died.
He needs to fix it. Kyle's recording.
Hey, for the podcast listeners, the non-visual ones, Kyle was very expressive in his muteness there. Mm-hmm. He was like, it was very expressive. So, yes. Kyle, you want to start over your 35 seconds? Can we hear you?
I think there's something coming out.
Oh no. My Lord. All right, Brennan, you got 35 seconds on the clock. Let's go.
All right. Well, what did I say? I said it was second behind his career accolades. All right. 40,000 points, nothing to slouch at. He's going to be the first player to do it, I believe, right? First player? Yeah. So, first player to ever do it. But at the same time, you still got to keep in mind this dude's won 4 championships. He's won multiple NBA championship MVPs. He's won multiple MVPs, regular season awards. I think those come first because that shows the true versatility of his greatness. Like, he's not just a point scorer. He's great ball IQ. He's very physical. He's one of the most physically gifted athletes in any sport. And I think you got to keep that first. But 40,000 points, definitely second, nothing to slouch about.
Interesting. So with that being the case, I'll step in for Kyle here for you.
Well, he's back.
Unless Kyle's ready.
I am so unbelievably ready.
All right, Kyle, 35 seconds, go.
What, for my case here?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's his best achievement. I don't think anyone is going to sniff 40,000 points in the league ever. Closest right now currently is Kevin Durant. He's like 28,000. And I'll talk about the accolades later that I compared, but I don't know what just happened. To be quite honest with you. But
all right, to recap what Brennan said that like trophies and other accolades like championships and MVPs, those awards are better than this achievement here. So you guys got to have a minute 30. Go.
All right. So Kyle, Korey didn't explain why I said that. So just real quick, why I said that. I think the awards and championships show LeBron as an all-around player. Like, he's not just known for his point scoring. He's great ball IQ, great handling. You know, he's the second best player in basketball all time. That's why I said awards. 40,000 points, though, nothing to slouch about. But especially in today's NBA where scoring is so prevalent, I do disagree with you where I think there's going to be other players in the future that can reach 40,000 points. I know it's tough. I know it sounds absurd, but with the way the NBA is going, with the decline in defense,
that's fair. Yeah.
I think 40,000 points can be reached. But I do think, as of now, it is his second greatest achievement.
Mm-hmm. Above what? Above
everything else. I mean, what hasn't the guy done? Like on it. I support.
I don't understand how you're ranking this. You said all of his achievements, 40,000 points, everything else. What does that mean?
I would put 40,000 points above his All-Star MVPs. I would.
All right, Brennan.
Which is, I don't think that's very inarguable.
He played in a little bit of the good All-Star era. So I mean, but like I wouldn't put it above his All-Star appearances. But I wouldn't put it above his championships or his actual MVPs. Maybe you put it above his championship MVPs if you want to agree there. But I think you got to put your MVP awards and the NBA championships above.
That's your time there, guys. Kyle, do you agree?
I guess so. I think it's the greatest individual. It's the greatest individual achievement for him. But I would say the most notable for him are his championships. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a weird agreement, but I'll take it. That's 2 points for you guys. We're going to stick in the NBA, but we're not going to be so player-centric now. We're going to talk about the play-in tournament. In the Western Conference right now, we've got 10 teams with records that are above 500. But in the East, you have those 8 teams that are above 500 and then a huge drop-off between 8 and 9. With that in mind, do you think any restrictions or requirements need to be added to being able to make the NBA in-season tournament? Whoa, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, Brennan,
okay.
you've got just full throw out here. Let's go for it.
All right. I said get rid of the play-in tournament. It's ridiculous. I mean, it was put in to deter teams from what's it called, tanking and like getting a higher draft pick, but it's not working. I mean, the Toronto Raptors really about to make a push after they traded away tons of key assets and make the play-in tournament have a chance to win the NBA championship. Like, come on. It's ridiculous. I mean, in the Western Conference, I'm sorry, I know there's a bunch of good teams, a bunch of teams deserving to make the playoffs, but the 8 best teams at the end of the day will get in, and I'm sorry for the rest of the teams. It's just tough luck.
Kyle.
So I can definitely agree with that, but I kind of have more of a lax sort of judgment on this. I think 1 through 8 should make it, and then if you still have a winning record and you're not one of those 1 to 8 seeds, you should make the play-in tournament. I understand that that's not going to have an even amount on both sides of both conferences, but honestly, I don't care. I think because you talk about the 10 teams in the West that are above 500 right now, they should all have the opportunity to make it. But some of the teams in the East, like we talked about, Toronto, had no way deserve making the playoffs at this point.
All right. Well, Brennan has no forgiveness, but Kyle is letting those people who earned it make the playoffs. Let's talk.
All right. I can make concessions. I like that idea, but I think in order for that to work, there's got to be a limit. Like, you got to be at least 5, 6, maybe 7 games over 500. You can't be like a.
That's a lot, Brennan.
Seems like a
but
lot.
You got to be good. I don't want a team.
37 is nuts.
I don't want a team that's like 1-2 games over 500 in the playoffs. Like, that doesn't prove that you're good. It just shows that
that's
you're mid.
always been the case in the NBA, though.
I know, but that's why I'm saying get rid of the in-season tournament. But like, I can agree if it's
2 years ago. Okay.
So, Scott, I know, and it's what's happened. So, Scott, I will agree. Can we agree that you gotta be at least a certain number of games over 500 if you want to make the playoffs?
What is that range for you? Because I can definitely agree, but what is that range for you?
What is it
over 500? Because honestly, I think more often than not, like the 7 and 8 seeds are not 5 games over 500. So I can come down to 4, maybe 3. But like 2 to 1. 2 or 1 games over 500. The history of like 7 and 8 seeds in basketball history, they're always like 2 games over 500. Maybe.
Yeah, even in your Eastern Conference right now, you're gonna have like a 41-41 team in your 8 seed, and you're telling that the 10 seed Warriors aren't allowed to make it because they're only 3 games above 500.
Well, that's why I like Kyle's idea of those teams. But all right, 2 games, Kyle. Can you agree?
Okay.
2 games.
Yes,
okay.
I can agree on 2 games.
Fantastic. We have reached a compromise. That's going to be your 3rd point. Now, moving on to the MLB. The MLB is a league that has made some rule changes. They're back at it with more rule changes of the pitching time and all of that sort of stuff. What league do you think would most benefit from a similar sped up format? You can say the MLB if you think they need more speed, but
Okay.
all right. Kyle, let's hear it.
So I regrettably said NFL because I don't really think it does need it, but I think out of every of the 4 major leagues right now, I think it can definitely help with it. The main reason why a lot of people don't want to go to NFL games in the first place is that more often than not, you're just watching guys walk on the sideline, watching timeouts like that. The actual action from the time that you were there is very, very minimal. So but to be fair, I'm not necessarily sure what they could do to really address that. I thought maybe giving less teams, giving less time in the huddle for some teams, other sort of runoff penalties, like 5-second runoff penalties. But even then, I couldn't think of something really great.
All right, and Brennan.
So I said don't make the games faster. I mean, as much for the fan as we want it to be all this action, fast-paced moving, there's really not a lot you can do. In baseball, the pitch clock, it needed to be done. I wasn't a huge fan of it, in my opinion, because I think it can, like, rushing the pitchers and stuff, that's bad for arms, bad for injury, and making it even faster, wasn't a huge fan of that. The NFL, I said I could see a little bit, like maybe if you want to like adjust the snap clock, I said something along those lines, but you really can't do it in basketball, really can't do it in hockey, and I guess Kyle and I will continue to pick up this NFL talk here. So
yeah, I totally agree. I couldn't think of anything for hockey or basketball because those sports are already so time restricted. And even in the NFL, I try to come up with some good examples, but even
that's what I said. I said like the snap clock, and like even then,
I would not be a fan of that.
No, and my adjustment I made, I think, was like 5 seconds, like 40 to 35. Like,
and what point? How is that going to be?
Yeah, exactly. So do you just want to agree that's like nah.
I think what baseball did was the correct decision for its life.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
It's really the only sport that could have that sort of thing done for it, I feel like.
All right.
Yeah, and it was
with
already
only half of your time used, you guys agree that the NFL may have some issues to address, but overall, no need to change anything. All right. That's 4 agreements for you guys. Now let's move in back to the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs obviously just won the Super Bowl, but the Players Association team report cards just came out and said that the Kansas City Chiefs are the 31st best team in football in terms of their organization inside. So, and their owner was ranked worst. So what do you think is the what was the question I even asked? Okay, how much do team facilities like ownership, nutrition, and facilities actually impact winning?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's an agreement. Let's talk 1 minute, and then I have a follow-up for you guys.
Okay. So I think this is very situational based because the Chiefs got a bad grade, but did that grade say anything about Patrick Mahomes?
That's exactly what I put my notes. It's like the most impactful thing for a team at this point, apparently, are the coaches and the players.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, coaches matter, players matter. And I even threw in there, if you want to have a general manager grade, like, I think that would be something very cool, yeah. And then situationally based, I guess, I mean, the Commanders were ranked the worst team, and I mean, it's shown on the field. I mean, I just said this the other day to someone else. You can take Dan Snyder out of Washington, but you can't take the Washington out of Dan Snyder or something like that. It's just a mess in Washington. And I think that's kind of like the toxic environment has played a role into why they suck. But like, and you look at the top 2 teams like the Dolphins and the Vikings, and they're always decent, but they kind of just choke late season. So
players to beat with that sort of requirements.
Then that is your 5th agreement. You guys agree that it doesn't matter that much. And with that being the case, I have another question for you. What needs to be done to change that? I mean, do the Chiefs have any reason to change their actions if they're winning, even though their facilities are bad? And if they do need to change it, then what needs to be done for that to happen?
Bit of
Okay.
a controversy.
Yes, but like kind of strangely.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. All right. So 1 minute going.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. There's always room to improve. Obviously, I mean, you have Patrick Mahomes. It's not going to deter any free agents away. So it's really, if you don't do anything, then I guess there's no consequences. But you can always get better. You know, if you really want to entice a free agent there, I know they need receivers. Then you go and make those changes, right? I mean, these owners have billions of dollars to spend. Why not invest it into the team a little more?
Yeah.
You know,
and even we talked about the managerial aspect that kind of wasn't taken into account of here. You have the decision right now between keeping Chris Jones or L'Jarius Sneed. I think that's a huge thing, and they kind of have to adapt. Do they go with the veteran, the guy who's still great at his position, or do you go for the young guy that will become great?
Yeah, so it's the league is all about adaptation.
Factors.
You can go from 0 to hero in one season. I mean, we've seen so many teams do it in the past, right?
So you think
more than ever, adaptation is important in the NFL.
So you think they do matter, that they are going to address to those issues?
If you're a franchise like the Chiefs in this current situation, and you're getting this look, and like everyone's starting to question, oh well, the stuff in the locker is not good, then I think you have to go out and change it.
All right, that's 6 agreements for you guys, and now we are officially leaving the NFL for good, and we're hopping over to the NHL. The Arizona Coyotes are on a 13-game losing streak, which is not entirely surprising for them. But with the Coyotes being so bad now and being so bad historically, that begs the question, why? And are those two reasons tied to each other?
Yeah, we're killing it, dude.
All right, that's another minute. You guys said that it's the ownership. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Look, they may have the best jerseys in the entire league, but oh my god, their owner is completely terrible.
Oh my god, dude, you had the one guy getting arrested for domestic violence or something, and then like being suspended by the NHL. Like, what? It's unbelievable.
It's a whole mess. They're playing in a college arena. And even then they can't fill out that stadium of like 5,000 seats.
Yeah, it's wild.
They've never committed to a certain player or a certain amount of players.
Yeah.
They've never really done anything consistently well at all. I can't think of a time.
And when I take a look at organizations such as the Coyotes who have been bad for this long, it always comes down to ownership. I mean, look at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Look at the Oakland Athletics. Look at look at the Buffalo Sabres. Even in the NHL, like Terry Pegula is not a terrific owner of that team. Like, it all comes down to the owners. Are they willing to put the time, effort, energy into that?
All right, guys. That's going to be your 7th or 8th point?
I think it's 7th.
Or 7th.
That's your 7th point. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're hopping back to the MLB. So we may have seen a very early preview of the World Series. In my opinion, it's possible because we just saw the Rangers versus the Dodgers. We already know what the Dodgers have going for them. But what do you guys think needs to happen for the Texas Rangers to repeat as World Series champions?
Brennan go first here.
All right.
You can't be serious.
Oh my God!
Wow, you guys are like-minded individuals today.
Yes, sir.
1 minute. What did you guys say?
All right, so I said this because they won the World Series last year without arguably the best pitcher in baseball, Jacob DeGrom.
Yeah.
They didn't have him. As long as they can stay healthy, this team, I think, is poised to make another deep run in the postseason. You have all the key players locked up long term. Marcus Semien, Corey Seager. You got Adolis Garcia
in the league.
Yeah, and you still have players coming up. Like Wyatt Langford is a top 10 prospect in baseball, and he's going to be on. You're going to add him to a team that just won the World Series? You crazy? Like, Texas is going to be good for a long time.
They started as a wild card on the road last year, so really they only can go up.
They can only go up. Yeah. And enough said. I mean, just stay healthy. You have a lot of injury-prone players on the team. Keep them healthy. Limit, especially pitch on the pitching side. Maybe limit the innings a little bit. Get into that bullpen. The bullpen's pretty good. Just,
all right. You guys have time. You guys have time for 2 more questions. You may be able to do the thing that only me and Kyle have ever done in history, which is reach 10 points.
All right, here we go. We gotta get.
We're staying in the MLB. We're talking about NCAA college baseball. I mean, we've had it started a few weeks ago now. But is the NCAA the best place to see upcoming MLB talent, or is that place the minor leagues or international leagues? If you're looking for the next MLB talent, where are you looking?
No.
Oh, what'd you say?
All right.
I said NCAA. I'm not
Okay.
excited for this.
All right.
Okay. All right. So Kyle, we already know your answer. What did you say?
So, look, to be fair, I don't know much about either, but I would say personally, I think of college ball as being a bigger sort of franchise than the minor leagues, a bigger sort of appeal at the very least. So you're going to have the more of opportunity to understand and learn about players than you would if you were just looking at a farm system for a team or even just an entire minor league in general. So I think it's a wider ocean with more fish in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, and Brennan, you're going too.
Okay. So this question was like really open ended in a way that like the NCAA is a great spot for drafting players, but that's it. Like you don't know if those players you drafted are going to perform well in the minor leagues or not, because you got to keep in mind minor league baseball is still professional baseball. At the end of the day, it's part of the MLB system. They're all professionals there. They're all trying to they're all getting paid. They're getting a salary, trying to increase that salary. It's like a job. Like college, you're a student athlete. You have other things going on. It's a great place to draft players, but yeah.
Okay, so Brennan thinks there's more transferable skills there. Kyle, what do you have to say?
I agree with that, and if I'm being quite honest with you, I think this question is a little apples to oranges, because even when I was thinking about this, I was like, I feel like the talent range, or sorry, the game skill range, for college baseball and minor leagues is very vastly like different.
That's what exactly, and like you can perform in the NCAA, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate over to Major League Baseball or minor league baseball, for instance. Like look how many guys are career minor leaguers.
Sure, the same reason why you can perform well in like the SEC in football, but then when you get the NFL, you're not that great.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like
you got to keep in mind that like the minor leagues are a professional league. At the end of the day, these guys are getting paid to play baseball.
So are you guys agreeing on the minor leagues then?
Yeah, I think so. Right, Kyle?
Because again, this question was a little open-ended. So
all right, that's 9. That's 9 points for you.
All right,
guys.
here we go.
We are going to start the final question. We are already at the NCAA. Now let's talk about what everybody actually cares about the NCAA. NCAA basketball. March Madness is coming up. What is the best part of the NCAA basketball playoff?
We might agree.
I will fight tooth and nail for this. Oh, I mean, like
this is actually it's pretty different, but you know that's okay. All right, Kyle, let's hear it.
I interpreted this question as like the system of the bracket is what is the best, and it's automatic qualifying bids for every conference in the league. Because without that, you're not going to see schools like Loyola Chicago and went to the Final Four, Florida Gulf Coast, Dunk City, St. Peter's a few years ago, FDU, Princeton. You're not in a million years are they even going to make the tournament in the first place if it was not for the automatic bids that every conference gets, at least one.
Yeah.
And that's my time, I think.
Okay.
I think Brennan can agree with that.
Yeah, no, I will fully 100% agree with that. I said the upsets because I looked at it more like the actual tournament itself, like the bracket 64 set and what's going on. I mean, and Kyle just mentioned all the teams upset, like Loyola Chicago was one of my favorite upset Cinderella run to this day. Like St. Peter's, I know you had FAU last year. I mean, like Princeton a couple years back. Charlie Dickinson, like you have a lot of teams in there, and I will say I do love the brackets for the automatic qualifiers themselves, like the championships. I know it's maybe not the smaller ones, but especially like the Big Ten championship and stuff. I don't know. I just like it.
Okay, so what format-wise can you guys agree about?
I think we can agree pretty easily.
I think we agree. I like that. You can't have the upsets without that. Mm-hmm. And we agree with each other's points. I mean, I love the small teams making it, and I love the format of those automatic qualifiers too. So
Because unless you're dominating every game in a small conference, you're not going to make the tournament unless you have that automatic bid.
Exactly.
Because there's been so many good teams. There's been so many good teams that maybe have a loss or two at the end of the tournament that don't make it, even though they've won however many beforehand. But yeah, okay.
And with that, you guys have reached 10 points, and as such, you have avoided one of the most confusing speed round formats that we could have had.
Let's go.
You know, good for you guys. That's a heck of a way to end season 1.
Yes, it is.
But remember, guys, even though season 1 is ending, not much about this show is changing here into season 2. We're going to be a little flashier. We're going to be a little bit more excitable. But as Brennan says,
this isn't the other way.
If you like this content.
That's right.
Is it the right way?
Yeah, it's facing
That's the right way.
Sub to Banter Ball for this kind of content. We're going to keep you guys up to date and during this 2-week right here with content from our previous podcast that Brennan and I are going to be pumping out on TikTok and Instagram here. We're going to make that work. So you guys will get your fill. Go watch those old videos because I have noticed in our analytics, you guys are not watching the entire lengths of the videos. There's a lot of great discussion that you can listen into if you want to. So just come on in.
If you don't want to sit there, watch a YouTube video. We're always on Spotify. We're always on all the platforms you get our podcasts.
Exactly. You know? Listen while you drive. Get your sports fill from all of the leagues and get it in an efficient and an agreeable fashion, not just those yelling guys that you hear on ESPN. So that's our show for today, and we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Kyle, Brennan, anything you want to say before we sign off?
I think I already said what I wanted to say on that whiteboard. So the Banter Ball, you know?
Season 1 has been fun.
Yes, we will.
2.
Yes, sir.
Season 2 is starting, and we're going to replace Kyle.
Baby.
We're keeping
All right.
All right,
we will
guys,
see you
that's all
guys
for today. Farewell.